Good morning, everybody. November 11, 2022. The topic of discussion and session today is organizational environment, ladies and gentlemen. Organizational environment. We all visualize and we are in. We are in one way or the other part of it, be it an organization representing a family, friends, groups, or an organization where we work, workplace, factories, etc., etc. It's important because this is where we spend, if not at least 8 to 10 to 12 hours of a day in such an organization. And that's what is of interest to us. That is, what is the organizational environment? What it takes to make it, healthy and a good environment. So, environment is created by members of the organization. The leaders also contribute in their ways. There are hierarchies, leaders at all aspects, as well as the peers and subordinates, all in a complex web, interact with each other and contribute in their own ways in forming an organizational environment. Organizational environment is also based on what is prevalent already, certain norms being followed, So certain factors which merit consideration for generating and maintaining good, healthy, and progressive environment would include relationship. Healthy interpersonal relationships, relationships which are based on mutual trust and respect for each other. Relationship where happiness blossoms. Such relationships, when worked upon, contribute in making a good organizational environment, as along also good organization and environment leads to good relationship. Effect of the environment outside of our inner environment is also equally important. More so, if the environment outside is for some reason caustic, quasi-caustic, there would be requirement of protecting from the negative impact of the outside environment. The higher echelons, the peer groups, if generating pressures or negativity, needs to be protected from by means of communications, by means of interaction within your own environment, and institutionalizing certain techniques and technologies which earth the noise from outside, like negative impact of social media. The topics being discussed in media sometimes tend to vitiate the organizational environment that needs to be protected against. There is also requirement of the participants or the members of an environment not to feel constrained. Any environment can only be said to be healthy and good whether there are lesser constraints, either existing constraints or created constraints. By this, what we all understand is there would always be a requirement to work together to ensure availability of certain essential. The key word is essential resources. Yes, there is no need of abundance or overloading. However, essential resources are required so that there are lesser constraints in terms of working. Because if there are constraints which are avoidable and which can be made available and still exist, then there will be unhappiness. In this, I am not talking about the constraints in terms of, which would help you to work within your means. It is where the resources are available but are denied. Time is also a resource and can be a constraint if not utilized properly in an organization, thereby resulting in infractious activities and constraining individuals in productive output, thereby vitiating the environment? Structures and organizational frameworks, if efficiently carved out and followed in letter and spirit, would help in removing the constraints within the members. And as we have realized, administrative requirements should be met. In addition to this, there are a lot of issues or factors which are beyond control, more so, which are going to happen in the future. When we start predicting in an environment, it will lead into a very basic issue of anxiety. Therefore, whenever in an environment, issues of future anxiety should be avoided, and rumor mongering should be discouraged by going more into action in the present tense. Doomsday, failure, negative predictions can be overcome by ways ahead in the form of change of techniques, etc., rather than being in an anxious world. Next important organizational environmental factor would be an environment where there is blamelessness and truthfulness. It is opposite to an environment where there is blame and trust issues are existing between the members. So blamelessness, non-ridiculement of individuals or groups, fearlessness in discussions, freedom of expression and speech for discussion and putting across the views, counter views, contrary views, the ability of the environment to encourage such views and also to respect those views and also to consider those views, avoidance of zero error syndrome, which if not followed results in getting after each and every micro issue, every individual, and discouraging an individual from taking any initiative. Acceptance of failures due to omission unless there is a commission. I feel that failures because of omission may be looked around rather than being dealt upon in a harsh manner. Work-life balance is equally important for a good environment. As you know, time in and time out of the office is equally important if we want to maintain a life balance. In order to not only get in and get out, we must have organizational skills and use the technical tools available for organizing our day in terms of achieving our tasks which are required for an organization so that we can spare time for ourselves. We should be able to prioritize and schedule our events wherein minimum stress or the stress is avoided. Besides this, lateral inquiries should be encouraged and indulged in. A person of science should inquire about arts, crafts, and history. A person of historic or culinary skills needs to get into the cyber world so that lateral thought processes equally develop, so that a balance is achieved in terms of abilities and capacities, as well as hobbies, arts, and crafts. Time for self should be taken out in a day, in the morning, in the evening, while at home for self-growth. Unless we focus on our inner self of each person, how can an organizational environment be improved? Self-ownership is also a very important aspect. If there are members in an organization who take ownership, who take up things, and who get into a participatory system and help each other, such an environment will be better than where members are just looking at directions and doing piecemeal activities and feedbacks. How can we have self-ownership? An environment is where we understand that people are vibrating at different frequencies and require mentoring. So a lot of efforts at each level for mentoring, cross-mentoring, higher mentoring, and lower mentoring can be put in to generate confidence in the mates, peers, friends, and the environment. Alongside assigning responsibilities and having faith after assigning the responsibilities is key. Participatory, wherein it is not only just assigning responsibilities but participating while assigning responsibilities so that it's not about blame, but we are all together. Such initiatives would help to generate ownership. And besides that, the most important part to generate ownership will be patience. If we have patience, then the newer members in the environment and existing members as well would get into self-ownership mode. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are many more factors. However, these factors of relationship, protecting your environment from outside issues, freedom from mental and physical constraints, blamelessness, and truthfulness. Ensuring work-life balance and self-ownership environment would result in a good, healthy, and progressive environment in an organization, in a family, in a group, in factories, or wherever we go. Wish you all the best. Thank you.